You should be able to sit your kid down and say, hey, if you do this on social media, XYZ will also happen. You will have consequences.
There is talk of the UK Prime Minister looking to ban social media for users under the age of 16. This is a very interesting story. And I got to be honest, I'm kind of shocked to see that this is even being talked about.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on this, just on the
Okay.
surface
I
level?
actually have kind of a nuanced opinion on this because on one hand, I don't like to see the the government or anybody trying to ban the internet from anyone, but also parents shouldn't be letting their kids on the internet anyway. I've been saying this. Like kids should not be on the internet until they're like 18 or at the very least 16. So while I agree that kids should not be on the internet, I don't like that much power from the government either. So yeah.
So here's my thoughts on this. The okay, there have been study after study after study showing that there are ridiculously bad effects, specifically on teenage girls who use social media. Their
Mhm.
mental health is just destroyed. Uh, they have immense depression compared to previous
Oh yeah.
generations. Basically, they're scrolling TikTok, they're scrolling Instagram, they're being shown all these wonderful things that they don't have.
Mhm.
And that's been a conversation that I've had with my daughter about
Right.
just the internet as a whole is like, you're
Mhm.
not seeing reality. This is a
Mhm.
filtered reality.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, they're seeing a but not only are these girls seeing like on these Instagram accounts all these other women who have all these surgeries done, all of these filters, all these edited photos that are pushing just an unattainable standard, and these girls who look like human beings are going to feel like they're going to feel ugly because of that. And then you got you see the negative effects of that even with the Kardashians, for example. Look at Kylie Jenner and all the procedures she had done as a teenager, which in turn made her look like a 40-year-old woman when she's like 20. And it's because of social media, the glam reality stuff, and all of these extra procedures for people trying to look like a Snapchat filter has created this alien like look that for some reason a lot of these girls think is they should be looking like. So there's that, but then there's also the lifestyle type thing as well. When they see someone living like a Kardashian and they think, oh, this is the life, this is the kind of life I want, and they don't realize just how miserable that a lot of these people pretending like they have this amazing life really are. So yeah.
I've said for a long time that I think something like this needs to happen, right? And
Hmm.
I am definitely for limited government, but I do feel in situations there are things that there should be rules in place. Like
Right.
we go back to smoking cigarettes, right? In the
Hmm.
50s and 60s, doctors recommend this cigarette. It's good for
Right.
your health, right? And the government is telling, these doctors are saying, hey, whatever. And then guess what? We'd learn that cigarettes are really bad for you and they are killing you, which like, hey, you're putting
Yeah.
smoke into your body. Like, I'm, I'm not even going to go into the vaping thing, but, um,
Hmm.
and so you learn and you adjust because of it. Right. In a situation like this, we're already seeing studies built on social
Hmm.
media, the negative impacts it has on specifically children and everybody for the most part.
Right.
Like, why not make that change? If you can't smoke,
Yeah.
if you can't get a tattoo, right?
Hmm. Right.
Why not make those changes? Because
Hmm.
it's all your health. So
Exactly.
I'm actually kind of shocked that they're actually talking about this. And this is
Mhm,
like I said, it's a very nuanced conversation. As like I said, I was somebody
mhm.
who is not a fan of government reaching in, but I do feel like there should be rules or laws in place. So,
Right.
Mm-mm. Nope.
Oh, Blab
Blast, fire
says
away.
no.
No, I think you're incorrect when you say you should have rules because you give them an inch, they will take a mile, right? You start saying no
I
That
do.
is
phones,
I
what I'm
agree.
they're
scared
gonna
of.
just grab
I am
everything
scared of
else.
that.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
It's not the government's job to babysit your kids. It's yours. So if you're not paying attention to what your kid is doing, that is on you. I had Facebook when I was 16 or 15, and you know what? My dad was on Facebook watching everything that I was doing. He was making sure I wasn't doing anything stupid or posting anything dumb. And I turned out okay. I'm not posting nudes and stupid shit like that. I'm not Googling stuff. I don't know anything about the Kardashians. No idea this chick had, like cosmetic surgery when she was young. I had no idea because I don't care. But yeah, I am not for this whatsoever. I think social media can be a tool for education too. And like I said, it's up to the parents. It's up for the guardians to make sure they're not doing stupid shit. That is it. It's like Craig was saying before the stream, they're letting the children be babysat by social media and the internet. And that's a huge problem. You're just like, oh, it's not my problem. The internet can just take care of this kid for an hour or two while I'm working. No, fuck that.
Okay.
Get your shit together.
So I agree with everything you just said, right? And that's why I feel like there's nuance to this, right? It's ultimately the parents' responsibility, right? But do you think that people should be able to smoke? Like if a 13-year-old's like, hey, I want to smoke, and they go out and like when they go to the store, they're not sold cigarettes because there are rules in place that say, hey, we can't sell you these cigarettes. Hey, we can't give you this tattoo. Hey, we can't sell you these lottery tickets. You're not responsible enough for this response. You are not mature enough for this responsibility, right? There are rules in place there. And you could say, well, the parents, they don't, it's ultimately their job. And I agree with you on everything.
Kids gonna go around and get a cigarette anyway from somebody else. I mean, kids will go and get cigarettes from someone else, right? It doesn't mean that they're going straight up to the store and getting it. They're gonna find another way to get on it, just like they will for the internet. It'll be like on the black market or something like that,
Yeah,
they're gonna get on there eventually. So you might as well have it up front and be honest with them and teach them the ropes and say, hey, this is bad, just like smoking. Smoking is bad for you. This is what happens, the consequences. You should be able to sit your kid down and say, hey, if you do this on social media, XYZ will also happen. You will have consequences.
Okay. If you want to play the "they're going to do it eventually" card, then we can do that. We can do that, and we can say, well, they're going to see porn eventually. Why not just show it to them when they're 10?
Well, that's fucked. That's entirely fucked. That's why.
Well, you understand what I'm saying, though, right?
Yeah, but
that's fucked up.
What 10-year-old kid's finding porn is what I want to know. How the fuck are they doing that?
On the internet.
Congratulations, they're finding it on social media. Oh.
Well, I'm saying, where is this? Where is some 10-year-old actually finding on Instagram? There's porn on Instagram or something like that. That's
Blabs. I implore you to go on Twitter.
I don't want to find out.
It's all over Twitter.
I don't want to look.
Hey, I'm just gonna go on Twitter right now. I'm just gonna put in
Twitch as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, here it is, Blabs. I'm gonna put this up, and I'm just gonna search boobs on Instagram on Twitch on X right now. Okay, I've searched boobs on X. Do you know how long it took for me to get to some boobs?
Like 2 seconds.
It's there, right?
Yeah.
So what? Well, they're gonna see it eventually. So what's the point, right?
But I mean, also they can find this stuff in movies, on TV shows.
My God.
All that stuff.
Sorry, Jesus Christ! I need to close the window. Way more than that.
Oh my!
Right?
He found
way
the Twitch
more than
streams.
That. Well, all I'm saying is if you play the they're gonna get it eventually card, you can do that with anything you want, right? So.
Yeah.
But I just think we've seen study after
censoring or doing anything leave the government out of this.
My thing is, how is the government going to regulate this? How are they going to know that someone's kid is on the internet? That's where it gets a little scary because, it's like, well, how would they even know?
And then, are they stalking you? Are they watching everything? And we already know they're watching us every time. But now they're just going to double down on watching you, and they're going to justify it, saying, oh, we're for your protection. Oh, yes?
Right. Okay. Well, I think, here's the reality is that they can't do anything, right? Mm-hmm. But what they could do is the same thing that Twitch says, is when you log in, it says, are you over 13? Because Twitch is hypothetically over 13, right? Mm-hmm. And when you create an account on your Twitter or Instagram or whatever, it asks you those questions. Or there are locks on your phones that are parental locks, that you talk about being a parent, maybe that's one of those locks that you have that says you cannot download these things until you're 16, right?
Right.
I don't have all the answers here, but I do know that we have the answers saying that this is a detriment to society. We've seen a tremendous slip in people's mental health, mostly due to their exposure to the shit that they see on social media. And if you're right, if they want to see it, they'll eventually see it. But if we could put up some gates, then I don't see that as a bad thing.
I see that as the parents doing that then, saying, hey, we're going to make a block on our internet at home. Certain words will just block you out of the internet or something.
Or just like don't let their kids on the internet at all. Parents need to, on their own computers, put passwords on them and keep their kids' computers offline and just give them some offline games to play on it or something.
And give them real morals, because apparently lots of kids these days don't have morals. And they're like, oh, yeah, fuck this guy. No.
What's interesting about this Twitter post is it seems like most people are actually very much on board with the idea of it. When you look at the responses to it, the irony of people being on social media while saying, yeah, you should absolutely ban social media.
Daddy. Now, okay, weirdo.
Well, I mean, I don't think that's, people say, oh, I can see the benefits of this, and this guy's right. It's not going to work in reality, but the attempt to get rid of annoying kids off the internet is admirable, right? And I think that's the biggest thing is you talk about like protecting your kids. Don't you want to give them the opportunity to not have their brain fried by the bullshit that is exposed to them on a day-to-day basis through social media? I mean, and ultimately, is it the parents' responsibility? 100%. But like I said, it's a nuanced conversation. And there's definitely pluses and minuses. And, for me personally, I'm not a fan of government intervention pretty much ever. But there is government intervention and things like smoking, and alcohol, things like that. So who knows? But any closing thoughts on that?
I don't know. I just think it's really weird that the government should get far away from kids as possible.
Parents, do your job. Don't let your kids rule you. If you think, oh, the kids are gonna do it anyway, then you're discipline them, bro. Because when I was a kid, my parents told me, oh, you can't do this, you can't watch this channel. We didn't do it. And we knew if we got caught doing it, there would be consequences. So stop making excuses and being lazy parents. Do your job. Because these kids have to integrate into society. And if you're not doing your job, then you can very well ruin their entire lives right at the start.
And don't forget, if you're censoring what kids see, that's kind of like instant propaganda there. You can only show them what they need to see and how they should think. And then they grow up thinking only one thing. Nah.
Well, thank you guys very much for your support. Moment. Well, I know you had very much like a very much government is bad hat that you put on, which was awesome.
I respect it.
But what do you think about this? Leave us a comment down below. We read every single one of them. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe button because you have found your home for common sense in the gaming and entertainment worlds.